One of the most fascinating changes of 7.27b is that Sand King can turn the enemies into ticking time bombs. This is the 7.27b long-awaited hero highlight review. So after our item changes, what I'm going to do is take a look at not every hero, but some of the heroes, because obviously there's a lot of changes, and I'm going to tell you what I think are the most notable and what's going to make for interesting shifts in the meta. My name is Navis, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and this hero highlight review is brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. So in random order, we are starting with BREWMASTER, and we're going to only talk about the most important stuff. So here I'm going to mention the primal split changes. Primal split earth movement speed increase, primal split storm spirit attack damage increase, mana capacity increase, and the split fire attack backswing animation time reduced. This is buffs on every single primal spirit in addition to some buffs to Cinder Brew. You guys are looking at a much stronger offlane Brewmaster. Next up is one of the biggest changes that takes up almost this whole damn screen. We're looking at CLINKZ, and if you guys have played Dota for a while, you will look at this and understand that what they've done is basically undo CLINKZ. So I'm just going to tell you what's important here. They've taken his Death Pact, which was his Q, and they've made it his ultimate now. They've changed how it works a little bit, but now his Death Pact is his Q. His Skeleton Walk and his Strafe used to be kind of merged into one spell. So they basically took Strafe back out and made it its own individual spell, which grants you an insane amount of attack speed and gives you 100% evasion against ranged attackers. You also have the ability to get Burning Army still, but it's now a Scepter ability instead of it being his ultimate. So CLINKZ is different. His talents have changed a little bit, but he's basically been reverted back to the old CLINKZ. And one thing that's really massive about this is that his attack point has improved from 0.7 to 0.4, meaning that his animation isn't like it's like 0.3 seconds faster than that. Okay, the GRIMSTROKE change that I'm really excited to see here is just, I want to play with it because this seems silly. And this is what you get from talents alone. So GRIMSTROKE's Stroke of Fate already has a decent cast range. If you've ever played GRIMSTROKE, you see it goes pretty much halfway across, all the way across your screen. Now you can add 100 cast range at level 10 with your talent, and then at level 20, you can add on top of that another 800 cast range. That is 250 more than the old level 20 talent. So with an addition of potentially an Aether Lens, you're going to be sending a Stroke of Fate like 2 full monitor screens across. It's nuts. Legion Commander, level 25. The AoE press the attack talent has changed from 275 AoE to 400. What this does, by the way, you can't self-cast this on yourself. You actually have to press the button and click on yourself. If you self-cast by using your hotkey to double click, it doesn't work unless they maybe fixed it. I didn't test, but it didn't work right before this patch. That's a little side note. Anyways, this is crazy because it gives everybody within a 400 unit radius the press the attack buff. That includes creeps that could be attacking a tower. That includes all of your units, all of your summons. That is now significantly better, in my opinion, than getting the plus 30 bonus damage. In fact, I had been going it even when it was 275 AoE press the attack. This I'm excited to see. Death Prophet. Crypt Swarm cast point reduced from 0.4 to 0.2. So for those of you who don't know what cast point is, let's take a quick look. Look at how much faster this is, boom, than it was in the past. If I was just to spam this spell right now, you can spam it really quick. In the past, when it was 0.4 seconds, it would take significantly longer. So this means that Death Prophet will be able to get off more spells. She'll be able to have a little bit more mobility. This is actually a pretty big deal, even though it seems like a minor change. I think this is kind of big. And then her talents also reduce her Crypt Swarm cooldown down to 3 seconds and give her an extra 2 spirits on the exorcism at level 25. We'll see. I'm just really excited to see the spells get cast faster. And in addition to that, I'm gonna go on to LINA, who also has a lot of increased magic damage. She has the Laguna Blade damage increased by 50 per level. Her Dragon Slave backswing animation has been reduced, which is the backswing animation is the animation that happens after you cast a spell. You can cancel that animation, but not all of the time is it easy to do so, especially for newer players. This helps them out a lot. And she gets a little bonus in her level 20 talent for her fiery souls per stack. Magnus basically got his whole toolkit buffed. Let's take a quick look. Empower, damage increased. Shockwave, slow increased. Skewer, cooldown reduced. Skewer, radius increased. Level 10 talent, more attack speed, or actually attack speed changed to damage. And then level 15 talent, 100 shockwave damage to 140. Overall, Magnus gets some nice buffs, might throw him back into the mid meta. For Spectre, they're basically begging her to start buying an Agnums by changing Desolate and a little bit of changes to Haunt. The illusions no longer have a 1-second delay in acting/attacking. They attack right away. The Desolate damage increased by 10 per level, and then the radius in which you need to be next to another unit to not have Desolate applied to you if you're the enemy has been decreased from 500 to 425, meaning if you're not within 425 units of somebody on your team, you're going to be taking an additional 30, 40, 50, or 60 Desolate damage. Now, they did give her a minor regen reduction from 2.5 to 1.5, but they're basically just saying, hey, please buy an Agnum Scepter and try out Shadow Step. Sven's got a lot of changes, and I think one of the biggest might be right here, the 315 to 325 movement speed as a base. This might be one of the highest base movement speeds on a hero, which is needed on a hero who's sitting at like a 42% or 41% win rate. He's really in a tough spot right now. They did change the way his Warcry works a little bit. They changed the way his greater cleave distance, or they increased his greater cleave distance. God Strength no longer provides strength, but now provides additional damage. And in addition, they've changed his talent from providing an extra 7 or 32 strength to 50% God Strength damage. So I think what they want to see is people playing Sven in a faster pace and giving him the movement speed to close distance. They're hoping will stop him from getting kited as much. We'll see how that works out, but I'm not super sure that he's going to be viable. We'll find out when this meta unfolds. All right, they did something pretty silly with Arc Warden here, I'm not gonna lie. The most notable thing you can see here is the 6% cooldown reduction has been changed to 350 flux cast range. For those of you who don't know how Arc Warden works, if he gets a flux off on you, he can put a Wraith Spirit near you, and he can also cast his Arc Warden illusion, or his Arc Warden Tempest double, to throw another flux on you and another Wraith Spirit on top of you, and then just have them both hit you. You get double slowed by flux, you get hit by 2 Wraith Spirits, and then you just have 2 Arc Wardens hitting you, and you can't do any, like, they don't even have to actually get close to you because the Wraith Spirit range is already so far. An additional 350 is insane. People are going to abuse this. I'm betting this talent gets nerfed in 7.27C, and this is probably going to be like a quick, like, oh yeah, that's right, at level 15 or at level 10 we gave you 350 cast range bonus. What were we thinking? Now, massive Bloodseeker rework coming up here. They have taken Blood Rage, or what used to be Blood Rage, and made it what Thirst is now. So the way Blood Rage used to work, or the way Thirst works now, is it takes the max health of a unit or a hero that you kill, and they give you a percentage of that max health back as hit points to your hero, which is the Bloodseeker. So if you kill someone that has a ton of health, you restore health to yourself. Very nice. All right, that's in Thirst now, but Thirst no longer gives you attack speed or movement speed. Instead, Blood Rage now gives you increased attack speed, and it increases your spell damage by quite a bit, especially at level 4. What the trade-off is though is that now it costs mana and it drains your max HP per second while you're blood raged by a percentage, and at level 4 it's 3%, which means it's like an inverse heart. You're actually causing quite a bit of damage to yourself. It's this is going to be really interesting to see which item builds pan out around Bloodseeker. One thing that I want to try, like I want to try all kinds of stuff. I want to try Mjolnir builds, Mjolnir into BKB. I want to try going for a Battle Fury for the health regen and the mana regen, because you're going to need it for the blood rage, and also because it's got the ability to cleave and get you a lot of kills. That's nice. I want to try going lifesteal items. I don't know what's going to pan out to be awesome. I'm sure there's but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of experimentations and tests, and I can't wait to see what emerges as the new way to play Bloodseeker. Dark Seer might be making a comeback. Vacuum has a mana cost reduction, so it is significantly cheaper on mana to cast Vacuum. The Vacuum damage has increased by 50 per level, and the cooldown looks exactly the same to me. Maybe there's a typo or something that I'm missing, but that's still there. And the Wall of Replica's slow duration has increased from 0.75 seconds to 1 second, which is a 25% increase. Hey, that's not bad. Not bad. In addition to that, there's a couple talent changes that are kind of cool. In addition, 10% evasion. He didn't really need evasion before, so plus 75 ion shell radius. Nice. The ion shell radius talent at level 15 has now been changed to plus 400 max health, and then the level 15 talent changed from plus 10 HP regen to plus 25% Wall of Replica damage. I think this is pretty big. The Wall of Replica is obviously Darkseer's bread and butter, so having an additional 25% Wall of Replica damage might be nice. Might bring this hero back. So Axe's talents have changed around to make it possible to actually build a right-clicking axe. We're gonna see new builds come out in this hero, and basically what you're looking at here is the level 10 talent changing from plus 8 strength to 25 attack speed, and then they're taking the level 20 talent that was the attacking procs counter helix, and they're moving that to level 15. So instead of the old level 15 talent of 35 attack speed, they're letting you get it by level 15, meaning at level 15 you can have the additional 25 attack speed and your attacks can proc counter helix, and then you can start actually buying items that make you attack faster, and that in turn can make you proc counter helix a lot more. So level 15 timings on Axe might be a lot more interesting. You might not even be going for initiation builds on this hero as much. You might actually go for right click build. We'll see how it pans out, whether or not this timing is early enough to be effective for a right click axe build. I think that it will be formidable, but we'll have to wait and see. Razor got a lot of reworks. I think at the end of the day, what really happened to Razor is they kind of forgot that they made his E really just a movement speed spell now. All it does is provide movement speed. So it's like they kind of left this one as the most basic spell that exists in the game, percentage based movement speed. Static Link is kind of cool. It now no longer disarms you, and it lets you attack the person that you're linked to, but you can also switch the attack to a different target. So let's say I'm linked to a primary target, I can switch who I'm linked to. The same way that Wind Ranger uses Focus Fire, that's kind of what you do. You're like sitting there slapping people with your electric whip, and then you can switch targets, which is pretty cool. The plasma field cooldown has been reduced a little bit, which is nice. Agility gain increased, that's big. Strength gain increased, that's big. These kind of things, they seem pretty minor, but they make big differences in late games. And Eye of the Storm has been reworked a little bit as well. But the things that I'm interested in primarily are the changes to Static Link, plasma field, and the agility and strength gain increases. I think it might make Razor pretty cool. I just hope that they do something with Storm Surge. I don't like seeing such a basic spell exist now. It's just a movement speed increase. We mentioned Sand King already at the beginning of the video, but Caustic Finale now has been reworked. What it does now is it slows enemies movement speed for 5 seconds. If that enemy dies within 5 seconds, an explosion deals X amount of damage plus X percentage of the target's max health in a 500 AoE as damage. So basically, if you hit somebody as Sand King and you then kill them next to their 4 other heroes, it's gonna do AoE damage to everybody. So this is really interesting. I can't wait to see whether or not this gets completely changed or reverted, or if this is broken or abusable. I have a feeling it will be in some way, but I haven't played any Sand King yet to find out. I'm excited to try this. There are two heroes that they try to eliminate as position 4s. The first one being Sniper, shrapnel damage reduced, and Assassinate, scepter stun duration reduced on Assassinate at levels 1 and levels 2. So you only get the 1.5 second stun if Sniper is up to level 18, and since the shrapnel doesn't do very much damage, it makes it a lot harder to farm with him. They're trying to basically make Sniper a non-position 4 or just reduce that role because it's kind of annoying. And they are also doing that to our good buddy Weaver. So Weaver now has an increase in his Sakuchi speeds, which makes him pretty cool for laning and still kind of good for position 4 in that respect. But the time-lapse scepter cooldown has increased from 16 seconds to 20 seconds. You're seeing a lot of this, like position 4 Weavers get a scepter and then just time-lapse somebody every 16 seconds. It felt a little silly. And then the time-lapse scepter cast range has been reduced from 1,000 to 600. That's a big deal. That's 400 units. That's 4/10 of the amount that it was. Reduced. It's a big deal. So the scepter is not that viable on him anymore. You're basically gonna see either the carry Weaver come back or maybe some offlane Weaver, but you're gonna see a lot less position 4 Weaver and position 4 Sniper. Another patch, another set of Medusa buffs. All right, we're starting off with strengths, 15 to 17 strength, 19 to 23 intelligence. Now, split shot has been changed. The primary arrow now has the same damage reduction as the secondary arrows. Before, your primary target that you were targeting would take 100% of the damage, and then the rest would take a decreased percentage of damage. So what they've done to change that around, or to alleviate the fact that your primary arrow does less damage now with split shot, is they've made it toggleable. They made it so you can toggle it, and they've increased the arrow count from 3 to 4. They have also given the secondary arrows a bonus range from 100 to 150, meaning that you can hit units that are farther away than your primary arrow, and they have increased the damage of split shot overall, which is pretty cool, especially at lower levels. This might be really good for farming speed. It looks like it will be. You basically get 4 arrows and you have a pretty good a percentage of your damage coming out of that split shot. Not just that, but Mystic Snake has also got buffed. The 0.4 second cast time has been reduced to 0.2. The 0.4 second cast time has been reduced to 0.2 seconds, and the snake cooldown has been reduced from 11 to 10 seconds. That's pretty good. The cast time is a pretty big thing. You saw it on our Death Prophet earlier. It means that you throw that snake like really quickly. You're just like, my snake's out of there, and then I'm back to attacking. Another hero who got farming buffs, Luna. Base damage is increased, and the big thing that you'll take away from Luna is the change to Moonglaves. The bounce count has been changed from 1, 2, 3, 6 to 3, 4, 5, 6, but the damage has been reduced per bounce from being a static 35% to 52, 46, 40, 34. So at level 4, it actually becomes better than what it was before, meaning that when you get Moonglaves at level 1, which you probably will do now. The build will probably change to get Moonglaves early, so you can start farming farming jungle camps really quickly. Like, you'll go to lane, go to jungle, farm your medium camp, farm your small camp, go back to lane until you're strong enough to actually just run through the jungle quickly. And then Lunar Blessing has been rescaled to be a little bit stronger, but a little bit stronger in the end at 34%, weaker at the beginning, and you no longer get the bonus armor. So overall, I think a buff for Luna. We'll see how much faster she can farm with the Moonglaive changes. Now, Phantom Assassin got buffs, but the main thing here is the mobility change that comes with the level 15 talent. 25% cleave is now 350 Phantom Strike cast range. That gives you the ability to, 1, escape way easier, and 2, to close distance way easier. 350 is a significant amount of cast range, and 3, you can farm way faster because you can move around the map quicker with this additional cast range. This is a huge change to Phantom Assassin's mobility. In addition to that, she got the buff in base damage and a couple other changes, but overall, this is the big thing right here. So just like our good buddy CLINKZ, they undid Tiny, and they have basically changed tree grab again. It no longer slows you. It now has a 5-hit charge limit. They've basically taken it to work the way it did the first time they changed it. We're going a little bit backwards in some of these reworks, but okay. And then the avalanche initial projectile no longer takes 0.5 seconds to arrive at a destination, but instead it has 1,200 projectile speed, so avalanche should be a little bit quicker. Toss duration on toss has increased by 0.1 seconds, and his base health regen has increased by 1. We'll see. I don't play a lot of Tiny, so I think he's gonna end up being used a lot more. I know a lot of people loved Tiny when he had the 5-hit charge limit in the past. I have a feeling some people are gonna be really happy about this. Ursa, the strongest hero in my opinion in the current meta, has gotten some minor nerfs, and they're minor but kind of big. Okay, Earthshock, 2-second increase on each charge of Earthshock, and then Earthshock's slow reduction, the Earthshock's slow has been reduced by a pretty good amount, especially at level 4. Instead of 55%, it's down to 40%. It's still a very high reduction in movement speed. So I have a feeling he'll still be strong. And then the enrage cooldown has been increased from 50-40-30 to 70-50-30. This is probably much needed. Then at level 20, they changed the talent from 1.2 second enrage duration to -3 second Earthshock cooldown. Essentially, at level 20, if you take this talent, it'll mean that your Earthshock will be at 7 seconds, which is basically what it was at before in the last patch. So there are definitely some Ursa nerfs here. I still think the hero is going to be strong enough to be played as just to be a really strong meta hero that can be played in most games. For Juggernaut, they're basically trying to turn you into a spellcasting hero. I don't know. They've increased the movement speed from Blade Fury at the level 15 talent from 80 to +100, and then at level 20 they've increased the DPS from +100 to +140. At level 4, your Blade Fury does 160 DPS, so this essentially basically doubles your DPS on Blade Fury. It might be worth getting. I don't know. They're just making it so strong that we might see Juggernaut even get picked up in different positions now with this kind of stuff. Who knows? Like, maybe a position for Juggernaut. I'm not advocating for it. Don't shoot me, but it might happen. And then Omni Slash has been changed a little bit too. 40 attack speed in addition, and then the attack speed multiplier. The attack speed multiplier has been reduced from 1.7 to 1.6, but I mean, you do get the +40 attack speed, so Omni Slash is a little bit better. Will-O-Wisp has been changed on Keeper of the Light. That's something I want to talk about. It no longer drops your orders between each cycle and no longer prevents orders from being queued during it. This was the most annoying thing of all time. If you would queue your hero to attack the Willow wisp target and it flickered, it would stop all of your commands and you would have to set it up again after the light stopped shining. You would have to start clicking on it again. It was incredibly frustrating, especially because not all your teammates knew that, so it was very hard to kill this Willow. And now I like that you can set up commands or queue commands during the Will-O-Wisp as well. NAGA Siren has a crazy fast movement speed of 330 now, and the ensnare cast point has been reduced from 0.6 to 0.5. Song of the Siren has been upgraded a little bit. This might mean that she could get picked up as a position 4 again sometimes, but I think what it just means is that she can farm much faster with her illusions. The 10 movement speed as base movement is a big deal. I said Sven was probably the fastest hero in the game. He had 325. Now she's sitting at 330. So NAGA Siren is really looking like a good hero, and I think she might really make her way back into the meta. All right, so the rundown with Centaur is that hearts are back in business. They have changed Retaliate, and the gist of these changes is that you now return 20, 25, 30, or 35% of your strength as damage. The other spell that you have that returns or that does damage based on your strength is Double Edge. So Retaliate has changed, and Double Edge already did damage based on strength. You're gonna want to build up as much strength as possible on this Centaur. He's got a plethora of other changes. Those are the most notable. Just build yourself a very strong hero and you should be pretty okay. Another hero who's going back into the dark ages is Chaos Knight. They have now changed his Chaos Strike to have a 30% chance to proc instead of using a cooldown. So that is essentially what it was like before. Phantasm, they're changing this back. Instead of having 3 illusions all the time, you now get 1, 2, 3 that get stronger as you level up Phantasm. I don't know if this hero is going to be viable. I don't know if this 30% chance to proc is better or worse. I'm definitely going to try him because there was a time period where I really liked a little bit of Chaos Knight, but then they super nerfed his Chaos Strike in terms of the amount of health that you got back, the health that you regenerated from it. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe it'll be good with the 30% chance to proc. Maybe it'll make building attack speed on him a lot better than it was before. Who knows? We'll see. I'm gonna try out a lot of builds on him. In the support realm, it looks like Disruptor's got a little bit stronger. His kinetic field radius has increased by 10. That can be a very big deal. Sometimes people just edge out of that kinetic field, and then the level 10 talent that you get now, you can reduce the kinetic field cooldown by 2 seconds as well. This could be a pretty big, not big, but like enough of a change to give him an increase in win percentage and maybe make him get picked up more often. I like it, and I do want to learn Disruptor a little bit, so I'll probably start playing him a bit more. Our Templar Assassin got some early game buffs. Meld armor reduction rescaled, so now it is 5, 6, 7, 8 instead of 2, 4, 6, 8, meaning that if you get 1 point in meld early, or you get a meld off when you have 1 point in it, it's going to be significantly better than it was in the past, especially because people won't have as many armor items probably by the time that you get this, making it more effective. The cooldown has increased, but at level 4 or at level 4 meld, it's back down to 6 seconds again. So essentially you basically just get a lot more damage or a lot more armor reduction coming out early. It's really nice. I think that this is an overall buff. And then the level 25 talent increased from +4 refraction instances to 6. I like it. Overall buffs for TA. On Faceless Void, they want you to buy the Agnum Scepter. So what they've done is take the Time Walk Scepter AoE and increased it from 250 to 350. From those of you who don't know, when you Time Walk and you land next to enemy heroes, it hits them with a bash, which is pretty awesome. Everybody within a now 350 AoE. And then the talents, they basically swap them. Instead of the Time Walk reduction time, they've given it 275 time walk cast range units. So it's a bit of a reduction in the amount of time walk cast range you get from level 20, but in exchange you can time walk more often at level 20, minus 1.75 time walks, minus 1.75 seconds on your time walk. Meaning if you have Aghanims at level 20, you can time walk a lot more often, you still have a cast range increase, and you do 350 and it's in a 350 AoE. This might be a legitimate case to be building scepters on Faceless Void. And to keep this from being a 4-hour-long purge patch analysis type video, we will stop there. I know I didn't cover every hero. I didn't even talk about my favorite hero, the Beastmaster, who I think will be worse in this patch overall, especially because I think CLINKZ is going to be a very powerful hero, and CLINKZ and Enchantress got buffs, and I'm gonna miss my Beastmaster. I would love to hear your thoughts on the patch. Everybody, I'm Navitz, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe. This video was brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. Let me know what you think about this patch. One love.